Okay, let's see. Anybody else running for an office in here? Oh, yeah. Mr. Todd, Pownall. Post 2.
I'm Todd Pownall. I'm running for Post 2 Commissioner for another term. If you want honest, open, and transparent government, whether we agree or disagree, I'm asking for your vote. I'm asking for the citizens of Pownall County, if that's what you want to continue, that's what you're going to get with me. You may not always agree with where I stand, but you're going to know where I stand, and it's going to be done right out front. I want to talk just a couple minutes here about the budget, because that's been a hot topic item, and it's a little frustrating. There's more to the budget than what people know, and there's probably a lot of folks in the room right now that know quite a bit about budgets. So I'm not saying that you don't. But we got a lot going on this year. The voters voted for a $77 million jail, and we bonded $72 million. We didn't bond 77, we bonded 72, because that's what we felt like we could budget and do and be successful with. And we got that money back in the spring, and it's a good thing, because money's a lot harder to get right now, and it costs more to get it. So we've got that money, but we bonded $72 million. The voters voted for it overwhelmingly. We've got to make bond payments this year on that. Me and Mr. Collette have talked about that this week. And we're not passing that, right now, we're not passing that on to the voters for this year. We're going to wait till next year, because right now we don't have anything coming out of the ground. We're moving trees and moving dirt, but we don't have anything coming out of the ground. And we thought, well, we need to wait. And our finance director and the commissioner said we probably need to wait and bond and pass that on to the voters once things start coming out of the ground. Meaning we've got to make those bond payments this year because we've got the money. So we're going to be taking that out of fund balance. Okay? We bought the land back behind the courthouse for about $2.3 million. What we don't get credit on is years ago we bought a bunch of property for about $300,000 that we needed to straighten up some roads out in Post 4. And the commissioners at that time decided we're going to buy this whole piece of property because it was easier to buy the whole piece. It was in bank foreclosure. It was easier to buy the whole piece of property and then use what we need, and we could put out the rest of it out for basically auction. We ended up making a profit off that property of about $2.3 million. We don't get a whole lot of credit for that, but that's what we did. And we've got about another $1.5 million worth of property, right, Mr. Collette, that we haven't sold yet. And that'll come another day. We bought the jail property, and we haven't taken that money out of the $72 million, if you're with me, that we bonded, because we want to make sure we take care of getting the jail built. And at the end, our goal is to have some money. We put some money in there for property, but we're not going to take that money out and pay for the property right now. So we're paying for it, you the taxpayers, but we're paying for it out of fund balance. And then at the end, we hope to have what we should have in order to take that, but we don't want to take it and then be short on the jail and do something to shorten ourselves on the jail and not have the money, if that makes sense. So my point is, there's a lot going on when it comes to the budget. When you look at payments on the jail this year, could be $4 million that we're going to pay, roughly. And then you look at what we're doing for the jail. And then if you're looking, if we did not do a rollback, if we didn't do a rollback, we would have a little bit more money. But if we did do a rollback, then we're going to be short a couple $1 million. So when you add all that up, you could be looking at $8 or $9 million. So when you're looking at the budget, there's a little bit more to it. I've said to the department heads for the last 3 months, talk to your post commissioners, see where they stand. I don't know that we have the support in order to keep a 6.5 mill rate. we might be looking at doing a rollback. And I've done it for 3 months, and they'll tell you I've done it. I've done it in our department head meetings. I believe in the process happening. So when it was advertised, and Ms. Cochran knows exactly what I'm talking about, but when it was advertised, because that's what we have to do by law, we chose to do that because a few commissioners also wanted to make sure that y'all were able to see, the citizens were able to see the process done out front, and that we could share with you a little bit about what we're doing with the jail, the bond payments that we're making this year that we're not passing on, which would be more than what the rollback would get you, and we're not passing that on. We wanted you to see the process, and I've enjoyed going through that process and having public input so that y'all know exactly what's going on. So when you're in a town hall meeting and people talk to you and they say, hey, we don't want you to raise our taxes unless you're giving it to the sheriff. You know, I mean, it's been said, where do you think the money that we give to the sheriff comes from? So if there's budget increases that department heads are asking for, it's also the sheriff department, it's also whoever else, it's everybody. It's not just DOT, it's not just the finance department, it's not just the elections department, it's not just the library systems. You wouldn't believe where we have cut, but you also have the sheriff. And I'm not putting anything out on, against the sheriff, but I'm saying when people say, hey, don't raise our taxes, but we'll pay whatever for public safety, we're the ones that finance that. He does what he wants with the money that we give him, but we budget him. He's in charge of how he spends it. So I say it because we've really gotten bashed for putting things out in the public eye that's going to happen over the next 6 weeks with meetings and the citizens being able to come to us and talk to us, tell us what you like, tell us what you don't like. That's the process. That's the process that I've stood strong for and fought for to make sure that we do that. And we had commissioners that said, hey, we want to go through this process, let the citizens know. So I know I've thrown a lot at you, and anybody that's watching this on video, I know I've thrown a lot at you on it, but there's more than just, are you going to do a rollback? Are you going to get rid of that $2 million? Well, we're making a $4 million payment, and we've done this and we've done these other things, and we're trying to do what's best as a whole for everybody. And we need your participation in the process. I told somebody yesterday, I don't make a decision based on getting reelected. I won't make the comment that I made 4 years ago because somebody took it out of context. But you're elected to do the job, and the job that I was elected to do 4 years ago, I have that job to do until December 31st of this year. And I'm going to do that job. I'm not going to do something to get reelected. And so when a couple commissioners, and we've talked and we said, hey, we need to let the process happen, go through the hearings, let people come talk to us, let people tell us what they like, what they don't like, if they want to support the sheriff more, if they don't want to do this, they don't want to do that. That's allowing the process to happen. It's easy just to stand somewhere and say, hey, we're going to do a rollback. We're just going to do a rollback. Don't show any tax increase, don't show any, that's an easy decision to make. Is that not right? It may be hard budget-wise, but that's an easy decision to make because nobody's throwing anything at you. The tougher decision to make is say, hey, we want to put the process out there and let the citizens see what we're going through. I support the rollback, but I also support the process. And we had somebody in our Republican Party that was going through something a few weeks back, and she was worried about some things, and I said, if you'll just let the process happen, you'll be surprised what can come out of it. And she went through planning and zoning, she did this, did that. Well, she ended up getting what she wanted. There was something that was gonna come close to her in her neighborhood, and it didn't happen, it got turned down. But she let the process happen, and you have to do that. I don't support the tax increase on that, but I also know there's more to it than just that. We've also got to talk about, are we going to go ahead and pass on that debt for the jail for this year, because we can do that. And we were trying to look at the whole thing and see what came out that was going to be best for the citizens. And no matter who's in office next year, whether I'm in office or somebody else is in my seat, based on what we do this year, there's still decisions they got to make next year, and it will affect you. And I'm not a person that's going to make a decision just to push it off on somebody else, because we have a job to do. We were elected to do the job, and I'm elected to do the job of this job that I was elected to do it till this year, December 31st. So I don't know if that makes sense. I may have got off on a rabbit trail for some folks. The budget that was put out was the chairman's proposed budget. I'll leave it at that. It was the chairman's proposed budget. Do I agree with everything? No. It was the chairman's proposed budget, but I do believe in the process happening. Serving with Tony and Vernon has been more than just a pleasure, and I say that because these two guys came into office with me at a time where I was alone. It's been very humbling to serve with them, because I see how they've worked with their heart and how their decisions affect people, and they don't take it lightly. And they listen to folks. Do we do everything right? No. Have we dropped the ball? I'm sure we have. I've been told that through the mail and on the telephone here lately. So I'm sure we have. Okay? But we've worked hard on all kind of issues to make sure that we can do what's right for the citizens of Pownall County. It's been a pleasure to serve with them too. I look forward to serving another term for Pownall County and the citizens of Pownall County in Post 2. I will continue to work hard. I will continue to stand strong for what I believe in and what you believe in. I will continue to do the business of the public right out front. People say they don't like this or don't like that, and y'all shouldn't do this. We're doing the business of the citizens right out front. And I think those two commissioners, Tony and Vernon, and myself, have always been respectful to the citizens. And there's been times where things have come at us where maybe some people maybe would have handled it a different way, but we've always been respectful. We work for the citizens, and we work for you whether you agree with us or you don't. We work for you. And so I'll end it with that. I support the rollback, but I support the process. I'm Todd Pownall, running for Post 2 Commissioner, and I promise you, I will continue to work hard, stand strong, and be honest for the citizens in Post 2 and Pownall County. I thank you, and I thank the Republican Party. Thank you for the time.